Chayava sati vachi sanchetana hetu uppajjati ajjattan sukha dukkam. Avicca paccaya va. Aviccayatveva asesa viraga nirodha sa vacha nahoti. In Bhumija Sutta, Buddha says, Vachayava sati. When there are words, the thought being the cause, there arise inner pleasure and pain, completely because of the darkness or the avijja or the ignorance. In this short Dhamma fact, Buddha explains something deeper into our life. It is very important to understand what the words are. Can there be words without any thought connected to the words? Words do not simply become words if you don't have any thought about the words. If you don't give some value to the words, they do not become words. Simply they are mere sounds. Then when somebody talking, you should add some value to those words, whether good or bad. As good or bad, when you compare the sound waves that are coming from someone's mouth with that added value, that you get some inner pleasure or pain. Suppose somebody is praising you, then simply sounds coming out from someone's mouth, but you add some value to those sound waves to be good, then it is powered by the ignorance. Actually, in words there are no any hidden quality that these are good words and bad words. You make them good or bad according to your ignorance. So that is why Buddha says, Vachayava sati. There are to be words, you should have a thought. Vachi sanchetana hetu. Vachi sanchetana is very important, because with that vachi sanchetana, the thought about the words, with the given value to the words, then you get inner joy, inner pleasure or pain. Suppose somebody is scolding you, simply sounds are coming from his mouth, but you add some value to those words, those sound waves, powered by your ignorance. Using your thought, you add some value to those words to be bad. He's talking bad words, he's scolding me, but simply sound waves came out of his mouth, but you add some value to those words, because you compare good words and bad words. When somebody praises, that sound wave is given by you some good value, and when somebody scolds, that sound wave is given some bad value by you using your thought. It is influenced completely. Complete influence comes from your ignorance. Because of your ignorance, your thought is deluded. With the deluded thought, when you think of the words, they become good or bad. Then with that thought, inner joy or pain arise. That is what in this sutta Buddha says. You should try to understand how inner joy and pain or pleasure or pain, inside pleasure or pain, how they are dependent, how they are conditioned. Actually, they are not something like diamond things, something like diamond, but they are conditioned, they are dependent on something. That means when you think of the words to be good and bad, when you separate good words and bad words, there is complete influence of the darkness. When the thought is deluded by the darkness, you get some inner pleasure or pain. So this is what Buddha says in this Bhumija Sutta. So further, when we try to understand what is hidden in this Dhamma fact, it is very important to understand two extremes. There are two extremes here. Words are kind of forms that are coming from outside to your mind as mental images, and the thought, inside thought, that active thought is coming from inside. It is not a form condition, and the word extreme and the thought extreme. And what is in the middle? It is very important to understand there is contact between thought and the word image. Then actually what happens when you get joy or pain? What really happens inside your mind when you get joy or pain? The joy or the pain are some things that with the stimulation of the two things, that means thought and the words, that contact is a kind of stimulation. When it gets stronger enough, it gives some joy and joyful sensation, and at a time sorrowful sensation. So this joyful sensation and sorrowful sensation are conditioned. So they arise between the word image and your thought. So now we talk about the three things: two extremes. Word is an extreme, it is coming from outside, and the other extreme is the thought, it is coming from inside. And what is in the middle is contact. It's a kind of stimulation. That stimulation is called the feeling or the sensation. It can be, at a time it can be painful, or at a time it can be joyful. But what is behind that thought? There is complete darkness. It is called ignorance. Then when the thought is powered by ignorance, that joy or the pain becomes more strong. Then this is what we should understand in this Bhumija Sutta, that these joy and the pain are conditioned. Actually they are conditioned, not permanent. Then Buddha says, avicca yatte vasese viraga nirodha sa vacha no hoti. If you can eradicate ignorance from your mind, actually those words are not applied to you. Those words are not applied to you. There are no good words or bad words for you, because you don't have ignorance to give some value to those words as good and bad. Only when you give some good value and bad value to those words, sound waves, you get inner joy and pain. But if there is no ignorance inside your mind, actually there is no any space or room for the joy and the sorrow to arise. So that is why Buddha says in this Bhumija Sutta, you should eradicate ignorance. Then you do not get inner joy or pain inside your mind. Then you might listen to the words, bad words and good words, that are considered as bad and good in the society. But for you, inside you, you do not get any pleasure or pain when listening to those words, whether they are good or bad as considered by the society. Why this happens? Because you have completely eradicated your darkness, your ignorance towards the words. Then they do not become words for yourself. They are not applied to you. But you are also talking. When we talk about the Arahants, they talk. They use words, but when they use words, they don't have ignorance behind them. And also when they listen to the words, when they are scolded or when they are praised, they are not perturbed inside. They are not shaken inside, because they haven't given any value to the words as good or bad.